Thank you for tuning in to the Real Estate Jam Session. We're having a lot of fun here in this rainy Southern California day. We're not sure what to do with ourselves. However, we did do a video on what closing costs you can write off for your rental properties. And, you know, it's very detailed. We have actually George Pino, he's the CEO of Commercial Brokers International, comes in and talks to us about what we can write off our first year and then the second year forward. So it's very informational. Make sure you check in. If you're new to the channel, my name is Joe Killinger. I've been in real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and brokerage for over 20 years. And on this channel, we talk to you about anecdotes that have worked well for us, some paths that we've taken, some failures that we've had, of myself, my business partner George and I, what we've done together. And then we ask other people to come on and walk us through their successes and failures. So it's really a good thing that we're doing here. You can learn a lot from us. So make sure you check on, we do every Tuesday and Thursday, we put out a show. So make sure you check back regularly. And if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe. Welcome to the Real Estate Jam Session. We're having a lot of fun here today. It's a little rainy outside, so everybody's a little bit punchy. We don't know what to do in Southern California when it rains. But today we're going to be talking about what closing costs you can write off for your rental properties. So for that, I asked George Pino. George is the CEO of Commercial Brokers International in Los Angeles, and also he's just right across the hall. So that was an easy one.
Mm-hmm. It was. Nice and easy walk.
Thank you for coming in, though, or coming over. All right, closing costs, tax deductible on, let's go with your first year.
Okay.
You know, what items can you write off?
Absolutely. And, you know, what I want to actually a little bit kind of talk about also is that, you know, a lot of investors, when they come in, they don't really look at the closing costs. They think that their expenses, or they may not look at the settlement statement. The accountants will always ask for that settlement statement, so it's really important to keep that in hand and available, easy access for your accountant. The easiest way to look at this is essentially, you know, when you're operating a property, you have your expenses. Mm-hmm. Those can all be written off the year that the expenses are incurred.
Right.
There's also capital expenditures on property. Those are typically added to your basis, and then from there, they're depreciated out over the life of the property. Now, closing costs are treated the same way.
Okay.
The IRS actually only allows for 3 different types of closing costs to be expensed out that first year. And that's interest. If you're getting a mortgage, you prepay interest. From there, you also have certain mortgage points that can also be deducted the first year. Not necessarily all of them. It depends on what those points went to. The nice part is you don't even have to think about it or do anything about it. The lender will give you a 1098 at the end of the year, and it'll tell you what points need to be or should be expensed out that year, and what points may be depreciated out and added to the basis.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the IRS will allow, the third is real estate taxes. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't even realize that they're paying real estate taxes when they close, but a lot of times the property taxes, and when we talk about real estate taxes, we're talking about property taxes, not transfer taxes.
Right.
But the property tax a lot of times is prepaid up front. In many states, many different municipalities, they require the property tax to be prepaid for the year. So what you have to look at then is that if the seller has prepaid those taxes, the buyer then gives a credit back to the seller, or there's a debit on their settlement statement for property taxes. Those can all be written off that first year.
Okay.
So it's really important to really understand what's paying, who's getting what, and where, so you can get that deduction. Mm-hmm. Now, everything else,
Year 2 on forward.
Year 2 on forward. Everything else, all the other expenses, think of them as almost like capital expenditures to the property. Mm-hmm. And so you can't really deduct them that year, the first year. But what you can do is add to your basis. This goes like you may have attorney fees. You should have inspection fees.
Better have
from a professional inspector.
Yeah.
You may have a survey. You may have a phase 1 environmental report done, and you know there's other fees as well that you may go into. Now those can all be added to your basis and then depreciated over the life of the property. So you still get to deduct it, just not all in the first year.
Okay.
Okay, so really as simple as that. Just really keep an eye out. Make sure you keep your hands on that settlement statement. Don't lose it. If you do lose it, though, you can always go back to your agent. And if they're a good agent, they'll have a file ready for you and send it right off.
For how many years? 5 years?
Well, it depends. It depends on the state. California
5, 7
requires
years.
California requires 3. I know personally, though, I typically keep all of my client files in. Available electronically.
Yep.
I will destroy some of them, after a certain amount of time, but generally speaking, I can go back at least 5-7 years.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, George, thank you for coming in today. I think that was very informative for our viewers. If you guys have any questions about this, don't hesitate to reach out. You can DM me directly. I'll put you in contact with George, and we'll get your question answered for you. And as you see, we're putting these videos out every Tuesday and Thursday at 2 p.m. PST, so if you haven't done so, make sure you subscribe. George, thank you for coming in today.
Thank you for having me, as always.
And thank you for tuning in, guys.